Myself and my two good friends, Jenny and Hannah, decided we were ready for a weekend away. And randomly, we found Blidworth House, West Wing. It was on booking.com. It was amazingly cheap, and you literally got 4 bedroom, well, the whole of the West Wing to yourself. And we decided we were going to go there. So, being me, I have to Google everything and see what was on offer in the area, and I couldn't believe our luck when Newstead Abbey was literally a mile up the road from there, and the Druid Stone was again just up the across the village and in walking distance for us. So we spent the entire day at Newstead Abbey on the Saturday, and I was so impressed. I looked at the website because I'm a bit of a geek and I love to look things up before we go places. And it said it was so underrated, their website was, and it really, the reviews from people really bigged it up. So I thought, well, we're going to have to go and see. And I can honestly say I was blown away. We got there as it opened, and we literally had to leave as it was closing because there was just so much to see, and we had so much fun. It's the home of Lord Byron, and if you don't know anything about Lord Byron, well, what an amazing life that man had. Well, we can't go on about Byron any longer without talking about the tea room first, because let's face it, ladies, when we go anywhere we love our cake and coffee, and to actually have somewhere that catered for one of my friends is vegan, so we all felt well looked after, and it was a really lovely cafe, lovely experience. So I think that's as important when you go on a day out. Great facilities as well as fabulous history and beautiful gardens. Start didn't stop him from becoming very, very famous in the end through his writing and his poetry. He became a celebrity in Regency London, and was then rumoured to have many affairs with men and women and even his half-sister. So he became very infamous in his time. He was absolutely useless with money, so his actual stay at Newstead wasn't for that long, and he ended up having to sell it to one of his good friends, and it was him that really is responsible for enabling what we see today. I'm not going to go on lots about the history of it, you can Google it, but I really encourage you to go and see for yourself because it is a stunningly beautiful building. One of the rooms that fascinated is what I'm showing you now, and this was his dining room, because he, being impoverished at the time, I was only able to afford to renovate about 5 or 6 of the rooms. And in this one here, you can see near Hannah's hand that there's like a big orb of light. I thought she was holding her phone, but she wasn't. And then the orb moved and it went up by her face. It was absolutely fascinating. So lots of different energies in the rooms. Some of them felt quite oppressive. Some of them felt very light and airy. You think of all the people that have been there in the time, you think of the days when it was the monks, when it was the abbey. It's a fascinating place, and like I say, I'm not going to go on and on about the history. I think you need to go, you really need to see it, soak it all up and have a fabulous day there. We found some fascinating photos. There's Hannah sat at the table looking through them. Look at the children in this picture, especially the ones in the bushes. They almost look like little spirit entities are appearing out of it. Were there really meant to be that many children in the photo? Who knows? been rude not to. And they were adult sizes, so we knew we were meant to join in as well as the children. The grounds, there is just so much to see. It is utterly beautiful and so well kept. There is this enormous lake, like when we walked in, you could see the swans and all the birds. They're used to being fed. They sell bird food in the shop, so they're really, really friendly. But the different gardens there were to see, and how excited was I when I saw the waterfall. And the first thing I said was, oh, it was such a hot day, how amazing would that be to be able to stand behind it? And when I found out you could, I was in there like a shot. But to see the water as it's coming down and to see it from behind, it is a really different atmosphere. And then the waterfall then went under the road and out onto the other side where it stepped down through the wood, and there was lots of little children playing there in the shallows. It was such a beautiful day, and the big standing stones within that part were fascinating for me. I'm always one for a bit of stone bothering, so yes, I was in there, shoes off straight away to go and touch the stones, and what a fantastic experience, and how warm the water was that day as well. It was really lovely. Beautiful, but the most special one to me, and I think my friends enjoyed it as much as well, was the Japanese garden. And to be able to go down through the steps, through the hidden pathways, considering how many people were there that day, because it was such a beautiful day, it really felt like we had the whole garden to ourselves, and it was stunningly beautiful. And one of the clever things, I think, the whole design of it was the sound. all you could hear was the waterfalls, the rushing water, and then you go around another corner to a vista of total stillness. It was, again, I've used this word so many times, but it was stunningly beautiful, and worth walking to that far end of the park to see. Can you see the face here in the ivy on the tree? That was something that fascinated us. What would been a lovely day, we decided to go to the hut. This is at the end of the road to the entrance to Newstead Abbey. We'd had a look online and it said it was a great place to eat, so we quickly booked in and popped in there. And what lovely staff, a beautiful clean place, and really good food that again catered to all of us. But ladies, if you want a treat, the chap that had just started work that day there, pot washing in the kitchen, looks like Travis Fimmel, as in from Vikings. If you think Ragnar to a T, that's what he looked like. So yes, we did have to embarrass the poor lad and tell him, and he quickly scuttled away. But if you want a treat, ladies, I recommend you eat there, and of course for the food and the prosecco, obviously. Well, I'm very lucky I have good friends, because the next morning I dragged them out to go and search for the Druid's Stone. I'd looked online and been told it was quite hard to find the entrance to the footpath, and they weren't kidding. But with a lovely lady who lived locally who told us where to go, we were soon off and across the fields. And what a stunning place. The foxgloves were all out, you know, the wildlife, the birds were singing. And though in the village you're quite near a busy road, once you were there it was so beautiful and quiet. And it was a 10-minute stroll from the road. And there you can see the Druid Stone. It doesn't look very big from the top of the hill, and when the photographs get better, then I have to hand the credit over to my friend Jenny, because she was able to take the wands through the hedge up close of the actual stone, because you can only just see it from the footpath. But it was still worth the walk. It was still worth seeing and learning about the history of it, because supposedly when you walk down Ricketts Lane, I think that gives you a clue, but in the old days they would lift the children and they would carry them through the hole in the rock, and this would actually supposedly cure them. Now then we go on to the village church where we just popped in, where you can see the little replica in the graveyard of the church, how it used to be. And that Will Scarlett's meant to be buried in that churchyard as well, though I think that's been disproven, but the legend still lives on. And then we spent a lovely lunch in the garden at the property, and I must admit I had a bit of a faux pas earlier. I call it Blidworth and it's actually Blidworth. But it was a fabulous weekend. I could highly recommend all the places we went, where we stayed. We had such lovely hosts, and it was just a really lovely weekend. Thank you.